scuffed. So, yes. And if you do well, I have a little something for you. Let me show you, so motivation rises. If you do well, you get one of these bad boys. Do you want the gold star? Are you a good noodle, Chad? Are you a good noodle? Do you want the gold star? Ooh. Ooh. Just grasp it. Come on, Chad. Do you not want it? You gotta reach out. Oh no, it's slipping away, Chad. It's slipping away, quick. Reach out. I forgot I added that. I'm the star. But yeah, you get one of these bad boys. So you gotta work hard, Chad, okay? Gotta work hard. Is Babette's best teacher? I doubt that. I very much doubt that. You'll be keeping the VOD so we can refer back to it later if you want to. Yeah, we can do that totally. Gold star. Yes, we will briefly touch the titty subject. Titty 101. Everything about the tit and how the tit works. Can I ask for a kiss instead? Everyone who's tagging along till the end gets a free smooch on the head. For all to see. Ah! Yeah. I will share the gold star in the Discord server. Bulgies. Hero, I need a lesson on that. Maybe not. Maybe just only basics for now. Only basics. Maybe in the next stream art class that will be on Picardo, because Twitch doesn't like seeing bulgies and movies. We just do clitoritis 101. This is what the clit does, and this is what the clit doesn't do, including bulgies, beep, lips, everything. Twitch is mean. Twitch is just jealous. But then again, it's okay to have IRL streamers licking their ear microphones like they fucking haven't eaten for 3 days. Yeah, Hero can do the bulgy class. Okay. Not gonna lie, I have no idea how I want to start, but I guess we just jump right into it. Of just like basic foundational knowledge. Because I was actually looking at like old stuff I had to be somewhat prepared. So let's switch screen real quick. I just make a canvas. Oh yeah, would you also like me to include like Clip Studio Paint, like stuff that I use, just like how I do my layers and stuff? Would you like to see that too? No, please. Okay. Maybe we can touch it very briefly. And have paint. Yeah, like no matter if you use Clip Studio or Paint Tools I, both is fine. I have used both of it. Oh, maybe we should also touch the thing of how where my knowledge comes from. Okay, wait, let's touch the topic quickly. So, I've been drawing since I was a wee baby. A wee baby. My mom told me I was just basically always holding a pen in my hand and drawing constantly. And basically, when I try like doing like real art, not just doodles, trying to practice, getting better at it, I was 14. So I have like 10 years in total of drawing experience. 10 years, and I think I started drawing digitally in 2017. 2017 or 2016, but I think it was 2017. So like now a little bit over 5 years of digital art experience. Before that, only traditional. What else do we have? Basically, a lot of stuff is self-taught. I had a couple of art books that I didn't really use. And yeah, just kind of observing and stuff. We will talk about like, you know, the basics too on how you can just like improve without needing to study a lot. So, and 1 year of art college expertise, but that doesn't really cover art. It's more like just typography, like you know, how to make pretty fonts, pretty websites, that kind of stuff. Not so much art. But yeah, before that is music okay? Is it not too loud, not too overwhelming? Okay, let's start with like the basics. Music is chill, nice. There is a free version of Clip Studio, a free trial. I don't know what it costs right now, but usually Clip Studio also has like a lot of sales on holidays. So I would definitely look out for it if you want. My recommendation though, I started off with like a cracked version of Photoshop and then moved on to Paint Tool Sai. And I think Paint Tool Sai is like a very user-friendly program, especially for beginner artists, because Clip Studio can be a little bit intimidating and overwhelming. While it does have good features, it may be a little bit too much for beginner artists, but everyone can use the program how they want. Most important is that, you know, you feel comfortable using it. But there's like a lot of videos on YouTube that introduce like free programs. There's also Krita. I haven't tried out Krita, but I heard good things about it. But yeah, basically, just YouTube will give you a lot of like free websites if you and programs if you want to check that out. But yeah, well, mostly I have like Paint Tool Sai experience and Clip Studio. I think I started Clip Studio in like 2019, 2020. So yeah, 3 years of Paint Tool Sai and kind of 3 years of Clip Studio. Can you change the window design on Sai, or is the bright version the only? As far as I know, it's the only version. I don't know if they added like a dark version, but yeah. Oh, there's also to those who use Clip Studio and are familiar with Paint Tool Sai, if you go to the Clip Studio asset store, very much recommended. It has a lot of good free brushes and free assets you can use. Like Clip Studio also has like UI layouts that you can save. So basically how everything is organized, where you know your certain bars at and everything. And it has one for Paint Tool Sai, so it has the exact same layout as Paint Tool Sai, if you are like, you know, more comfortable with that. But yeah, basically, lesson number 1. Let's switch to art. Let's put me in the corner. Miss Babette gotta shrink a little bit. Oh, I'll make myself a little bit smaller so you can see the layers, but we will go over it in detail. Okay? Okay. Okay, we have this, we have that. Lift these sunlights, we can delete the clock. Go fucking away. So this is basically my layout, how I have my CSP. As you can see. We can also like put a little bit more down. Oh! What did I do? What's happening? I just want to move it down. There we go. But not... So we can see the windows up there, basically. Yeah, something like this. Okay. Your teacher, you can't be confused. Shit. Okay, it's already going downhill. I prepared a little something. I think it's kind of a little silly, but I also love it. I made a little pointer for you all, so I can show stuff more easier. We have a little pointer. So I can be like, look, it's this over here. Yes, to make stuff more easier. Let me just adjust everything in size. Okay. Kind of genius. Okay. I would say, what do we start with? We can touch CSP, like how I work with it, like very quickly. But after I show you guys basically how I studied over the years. Oh my god, Misa, hi! My wife. No, there's a free painting program called Krita. I personally haven't used it, and I anticipate we could use. Yeah, like paints, Paintool Sai and Krita, I heard, are very user friendly for beginners. So I can definitely recommend. Yahoo! I don't have experience with Krita. I just only heard good things about it. But yeah, basically. Don't hit my fingers, please. If you're paying attention, then I won't need that. It's a little hard to save the quality for an object was on say better. Yeah, like that's why I can only say from like what I heard. But yeah, definitely I would 100% recommend Paintool Sai. Just because it's, you know, easy on the eye. You find everything very like fairly, you know. It's not hiding behind anything. But yes. So we start. You're gonna go full on detail. We start with lesson number 1. Okay, class? Okay? Oh shit. Lesson number 1. Why is it in comforter? Oh god. I want Nunito. Nunito is my favorite thing. Lesson number 1. Resources. So, for resources, Bloodsucker, hey, welcome. Welcome. Teacher Babette, please teach me art of butt grabbing. That will be a private lesson, we saw. Private lesson. Save a call. Okay. How do we approach art? A little heads up if I'm not good at explaining something. I have a little language barrier. I'm not good at using very high complicated words. So I'm better at like drawing than explaining with words. But if there's any questions or I'm not clear enough, please let me know, okay? always welcome to use the question redeem. Also, I mean they can, but sponges cost extra. Re resources. So question. Should we do it? Ooh, I know. Question number 1. Question. Ah! I need a different pen. Question number 1. How do we start? If you're starting out with art, you may notice that it's really overwhelming, and you see all those resources and tutorials and programs, and everything is like, wow, where do I look? How do I start out? What do I do? Okay, so nodding. Okay, like it can be very intimidating, but how I started out drawing is basically just, if you have a passion for it and you wanna, draw, I just say draw to your heart's content. You don't have to really think about. Oh, Mafakumu, thank you so much for gifting Hero and Subby. Thank you. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. So, thank you. Thank you for gifting Curious Subby. Thank you. Now I really lost my train of thought. Yeah, draw to your heart's content. You don't have to worry much about practice in the beginning. I would say just draw whatever you liked. I started out drawing, like, if anyone remembers the little DS notebooks, like that were in the DS cases, where it's like, oh, this is like the instruction papers and stuff. And sometimes they had little illustrations in them, and I fell in love with the Dragon Quest 9 like instruction book, and they had like the classes all drawn out and character art. So I was just like, I was trying to draw it. So what I did, oh yeah, for beginning, I would always recommend. Oh, I need to sit different. Quick. Recommended. Starting. Traditional. Now, this is not a must. I know everyone has their own preferences. Some people don't even start out with drawing traditional and jump right into digital art. You can do that too. It's just a recommended from me, because I feel like when you have it on paper, it's a little bit easier, like getting that hand movement down instead of like this angle of like your tablet. Basically. And what I did, for example, you can take whatever you like, take an illustration you really admire. Nothing too complicated, something simple. For example, if you like Pokemon, you can take Pokemons. Like anything simple, nothing too, of course, like very detailed, very high quality, professional. Just simple stuff. Like maybe you like a mascot or something. And basically, what you do is, I don't know if there's a term for it, but I always call it the. I love TD. If you love TD, you can draw TD. You need to learn, so no ads for Bunny. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Wait, we call it afterwards. So basically, you have your reference here. your ref. You put it in front of you, next to your piece of paper. And what you do is basically you look at the ref. You don't what people do, like put it on the window and just trace it. I think the best factor for learning shapes is trying to train your eye for it. Because not only your hand needs to be trained, your eye as well. You need to see the shapes. You need to see how everything is connected. And then you basically just try to replicate it. That's what I did with the Dragon Quest stuff. Of course, at the beginning, nothing will look perfect. It doesn't have to. You just have to get a foundational, feeling of how forms work, how shapes work, how everything is, linked together. It's a cutie. Hi. It's what are they? But this is just one method. This is how I started out. Of course, there's 100 other methods. Another one is what I like to call the One Punch Man training, but for artists. Like, there is a thing they taught us in art college, which are just like the simplest exercises among the best ones that you can practice as an artist. And it's basically practice your lines. You hear people say like, oh, I can't draw a straight line, and and it's like, yeah, of course, because your hand is not trained to draw 100 lines a day, 1,000 lines already. If you start out, you simply have not experience in that. So of course your hand feels a little bit wobbly, a little bit unstable. But the more you draw lines, the more stable it gets, the more you get a feeling for it. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. So, you can do my example, how I started out, or what I would recommend if you really are a beginner artist and you don't have any practice with art beforehand, is basically start out lines. I know it sounds boring as heck. It is not in any form fun, but it's very much needed. That doesn't mean that you have to draw lines all day. That's like just exercises you can do like half an hour a day. That already is enough. Like, consistency is key always. So, what you do, you just grab a piece of paper, get your pen, and then your lines may look like this in the beginning, right? Like, oh, not good, concentrated. Or you do the little swishy swish, the little mopper, how I like to call it, which is like a lot of very singular lines. Can you see what I do? Like, only single lines, but not one straight one. This is also what we need to train, because a lot of beginner artists do like very short lines next to each other, but then you can see like all the parts that they're not even, and it's just come more harder on you if you want to draw like different angles. You want to draw rounded things or shapes, and it's gonna get harder if you do like the single stuff. So, what do we need to do? We need, number one, straight lines. And number two, we need confident lines. No matter where you are on your art journey, be confident of how you draw the line. It is very much key. I also started out being the little mopper artist with singular lines. But it will do massive improvement on your art if you get a feeling for strong, long, confident lines. It will increase not only, like your progression, like you will be faster in sketching things, but also just get it quicker, reduce it to only just very simple base shapes that you need. You don't need a 1,000 single lines to do a circle. You just need one. Right? And this is what we need. So, been into the sugar today. So, what we do, we grab a paper and we start drawing lines. Diagonally, straight, vertically. Anything. Can be overlapping, it can be any kind of direction. It's just important that you draw a lot of straight lines. Yes, it looks wobbly at the beginning, it may not look perfect, you may still do the little mopper, the squishy scratchies. But try and overcome that. Try and just draw one line. Doesn't matter if it's wobbly, if it's imperfect, if it looks like this, doesn't matter. I promise you, it will get better with time. You just need to learn your hand to do, not like, if this is your hand, right? If this is your hand, use your pen. This is your hand. You need to get away from this movement to fully use your hand. Use your hand all the way. Don't limit yourself, because if you just let your hand stay in one position all the time, it's not only bad for your hand, like you get carpal tunnel and all that shit, like it also limits you on how you're able to draw the lines and be free, Use your whole hand, basically. And when you're done drawing lines, and they look kind of like this, somewhat straight, somewhat consistent, then you're already going into the right direction. And you did the first step, and you can be proud of yourself, okay? Here, we are proud of every small step. Every small step counts, it's important. It don't seem like it, but it's already massive improvement, and I'm proud of you. Now, this is an exercise. You can maybe do you can do it 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes, doesn't matter. As long as you do it at least once a day, okay? Once a day. I will clean these up afterwards and post them on the Discord if you want to look at them. So you can look at, we make a little exercise sheet, okay? So number 1 is lines, okay? Lines. Number 2, when we move on from this, we're drawing shapes. Shapes is the second most important thing for drawing. No matter what you draw, you always need shapes. Always. Training muscles and a high eye-hand coordination. Yes. So, what do we need for shapes? It's fairly simple. Just take any shapes. Circle, triangle, if I knew more terms for mathematical forms, I would write them down. Box, Any shape. And most important, I know a lot of people start jumping into 3D. We can do that too, but maybe a little bit later. Maybe a little bit after we already done a little bit of, you know, shape sketches. Oh god, what is that? Get away. So, you just start drawing any shape. Get a feeling for it. You can draw 1,000 circles or just 2. Doesn't matter. You need to remember basic shapes. You can stretch them a little bit, you can deform them. It's just important that you practice lines, circular lines, different angles, right? Basically. But I want to draw my icon syndrome. What the fuck is that? No, Yumi, no. Shapes. And if you already have a feeling for it... Oh wait, I was drawing with the wrong pen earlier. Whoops. You can like... advanced stuff. 3D shapes. Because no matter where you are on your art journey, you always need shapes. You need to get an eye for it, to see them, to feel them, to, you know, be basically good at drawing them. Because everything needs to be breakdown in shapes. Even if you don't see it in drawing processes, like your eye needs to be able to see something and break it down into shapes. Right? Noted, it's bus chai. The 20-sided shape. Oh my god. No, not these. So, for 3D stuff. Wait, let me check real quick. In art college, we had a thing that they say like 100 cubes, then 100 cones, and then 100 spheres, etc. You don't need to do it to that extent. Like, this is like very too much. So what we do, 100. Yeah, this is why I called it the One Punch Man, like basically workout for artists. You start drawing your 3D forms. If you have struggles with it, you can also just use, like, you can Google pictures, like 3D shapes, and then just try, like, you know, getting a feel of, okay, how much is the length of the different sides, right? And then you just draw that. Just draw them in all kinds and different angles and shapes. Some top-down view. Basically, right? Spheres are also really good. Because if you don't know spheres, it's basically just loops. Doesn't require them to be perfect. Just drawing shapes, getting a feel of the 3D dimension that you need if you later want to do anatomy and stuff. Or just basically anything. Trees, buildings, everything is based on shapes. That's why this is the foundation. Okay? This exercise I want to see at least 1 time a day. from minimum 10 minutes. Okay? No, I'm looking at you. Promise me to draw at least 1 time a day, 10 minutes, couple shapes. Or 5 minutes. Minimum 5 minutes. But I will promise you this will help a lot. If not immediately, with time. I mean, of course, a lot of things, like, especially art, need time, need, you know, more practice, more time, more anything. Nothing will work right away or will improve your skill immediately. It always needs time so that you adjust to that skill, you learn how to use it in practice, and everything else. Now, true resources. After we've done our exercises, you can do that before every drawing. Oh, thank you for the follow. The last one is a bit sussy. What last one? I don't see any sussy things. Literally never done any of this. It's okay, Megu. Even if you are like further in your art journey and haven't done these, it's okay. It's never too late to start with these, you know? You're just building up on stuff you already learned, basically. Don't be too hard on yourself, okay? Rule number 1, don't be too hard on yourself. So, how do we find resources? Let's say we want to start with basic human anatomy, no animals, no nothing, no buildings. Basic human anatomy. A good thing is just looking up either model pictures, but not just like the fancy model stuff, right? It's just like references. Oh god, it's caps. References. Poses. A good thing is always stock photos. I know we meme it a lot and shit, but it's actually really good to just like get an eye for it. Let's see, can we get a good example? Can we get, what are those poses? Maybe something like this. Okay. So you can always Google that stuff, like references. Let's write down some keywords. You search for references, poses, pose ideas. Basically, to give a couple, there's of course more, but that's usually what I search for when I look for poses. And here's an example. Like, I was just Googling, this is from DeviantArt. And after you're done your exercises with the shapes and the cubes and everything, you automatically start training your eye now. This is a challenge. They did this in art college with us. If you go outside, Also, hi, Priest Pow. Hi, welcome. Thank you for the follow. If you go outside, I challenge you now. You look at everything you see and break it down in shapes. Yes, Miku. If not outside, then inside. Everything you look at. If it's art, if it's people, if it's objects, doesn't matter. Of course, not go full crazy Terminator eye. Just like if you're outside and you're like, hey, let's observe a little bit. Asking artists to touch grass. Yes, sometimes we need to touch grass too. Fresh air is important for brain to breathe. So, why do we do this? Why do we do this? Who needs to go outside, right? Who needs to break down shapes? We can just draw faces, right? No, you're wrong. Important thing is you do that. You take what you learned and basically put it into practice. So, what we do is first the breakdown. Basically, you do nothing of this, oh, torso here, lines there, perspective. None of that. None of that. You take a pose, look at it, and break it down like so. Okay, we have the face. Face is usually portrayed as a circle, right? We have the torso. Torso we can break down in shapes. We have the stomach. We have the hips. Basically, like this. We have legs. Legs can be cylinders. Okay? Won't that strain your figure? Strain in what context? Let me Google Translate that. Can you maybe elaborate a bit more on how you mean that? It's like a demo of choice. Nice. So welcome. So, what we do here is just basically get a feeling of how human anatomy is put together. Okay? Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Just have to, see the parts. Torsos are usually portrayed in boxes. Same with the hips. Faces are circles. The shoulder points are also circles. And limbs like arm or legs are cylinders. Hands are boxes. Feet are boxes. Yes. And when you have the parts down and you get a feeling of how the shapes work, you have a much easier time like referencing poses and just for poses in general, because you know you have the pose in your head, and you're like, okay, I want to draw this, and you start breaking it down in your head, like, okay, the head is here, and then torso is somewhat here, right? The stomach, hip part, and you basically have an easier time just like breaking down poses. Now there's a lot of discussion on these things, right? Because people say a lot like, oh, it's either the box method, which is this, breaking down everything in boxes, or there's another method where people are simplifying it a lot, which is like they do, okay, this is head, like every limbs or like the neck is just a, you know, a line. They form the torso like this. Make another line. Draw the bottom. Draw the legs as lines as well, right? And then this, basically. This is another method that people do. Neither of them is wrong. It's just basically what you prefer for breaking down poses. Circle body types can help, yeah. You can try it on every form of body, on gender, on just like diversity. The thing is, you just need to find what works for you. What helps you breaking down poses? What helps you? You? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. For example, this. Or this is another good one. What's the core of this? It's fairly simple. We ask ourselves, like, about the shapes. Shapes, form, perspective, poses. Expression. Now, we did a lot of these in art college. It's basically to help you get the fundamentals of just sketching poses. Like, you can see they're very rough. Like, the lines are nothing like close to, you know, any kind of shapes, any kind of perfection. It's just to get the feeling of the pose, which can be hard to understand, but it will make sense very quickly, like these. It's basically just 2 minute, 5 minute, really quick sketches of breakdown of poses. You can see, even though the lines are very rough, you can still very distinctively see the pose they're going for. And this is what we want. Listening hero. Yes. That's what I explained to Kitsu yesterday too. The way I as well draw poses is don't use too much time on getting the details down right at the beginning. You want to use the time to get the fundamental, get the very simple shape, very simple sketch done, so you know where what goes later in the sketching phase. Because I like to call this one the draft phase. Draft is very rough lines, very messy. They don't have to be perfect. It's basically just guidelines to help you see what goes where, how do you want the flow to be, certain parts, and then later in sketching you add details to it. We will show on a little exercise after this, but first we will do gestural film art. Let's see, where's my HB brush? My HB brush, where are you? Okay. For that, I would also recommend looking up poses, because you can never be wrong looking up poses. So if we take this for example, where is it? There it is. Just grab that from Google. The point is, you can set yourself a timer if you lose your trail of time easily, or you tend to just, you know, be too critical and go back to sketching more. Like, set yourself a timer, and after that timer stops, you're not allowed to continue on it. Because I'll explain that after, okay? Because there's actually a good exercise to it. For sketching, on a little side note, I would always recommend not using a black brush. Rarely using black brush when it comes to line art or sketching. That's just my preference. But I feel like sketching in another color, like you can go with purple, you can go with blue, you can go with like a red pinkish, it doesn't matter. I feel like it has a much more nicer look and touch to it, because black always feels so harsh. And maybe it's just my personal preference. If you don't need to apply this one, if you feel comfortable sketching with like black lines, it's just a little tip from me. But yeah, basically, we do the do. We don't focus on the fucking perfection. We just draw the lines. Right? As you can see, it's just a couple messy lines, but you can still see the pose. What I was going for. You can always adjust stuff later, mix it around. We're grabbing another example real quick. Is there maybe another more flexible? Let's do one from the back. On a side note, don't be afraid to draw any perspective. It doesn't have to be front perspective. Of course, it's always good to have a mixture in it. You know, some people feel more comfortable drawing only, you know, the three-fourth side angle or front view. But it's always good to practice a little bit of variety too, like side angles, back angles. It can never hurt. And in this exercise, you don't need to draw it perfect. It's just getting the feeling for it. So if you want to include that too, you can totally do it. So let's do one with a little bit of rougher lines first. So basically, this is head. It's the fucking, here's the torso. You can always correct it. Oops, wrong brush. Yahoo! Welcome to art class! Like this on the top. If you have like a very rough base and you lower the opacity, that's more like a digital kind of practice. And you want to put the rough lines over on top. Wait, let me get another brush for that. Yeah, like this. Like you wanna get the... like more advanced, but it's basically just like a later progression. Somebody's watching me. Thank you for the alert. Just keep in mind when you do those things, it really doesn't have to be perfect. You can always clean up in like the sketching phase. It never has to be perfect. It never has to like be anatomically correct. You just need to get the flow right. Even that, it still has flaws, but it's important to get the base down. Asa! Mama. This is fighting against my very urge. I know. It's I feel it. I'm very perfectionistic when it comes to art, but you need to learn how to treat yourself kinder and how to save you a lot of work, cause that's just what just comes to it, right? And after you're done with the exercises, you can move on. And I always recommend using like a lighter brush. There's a lot of pencil brushes on Clip Studio Asset Store for free if you want to use them. Just like a lighter, more softer brush that is not too harsh, because that helps a lot with sketching as well. And yeah, you basically just sketch along. Doesn't matter what the initial piece is gonna be. Just want to get down. Even now you can see how I'm doing more cleaner lines because it's been a while since I've done this exercise. So it would probably be good to get back into that as well. Because I feel like lately my poses are very repetitive and I do like the same kind. And this is just a good exercise to get back into like this very simplistic thinking. But yeah, basically, this is what I should do. Yeah, if you want to look up some examples, just Google rough drafts, rough poses, gestural sketches. You find a lot of examples there. But yeah, basically those are like the examples I can recommend a lot. Just like basic lines, or you start off with a base, very scribbly lines, and then you draw a pose over it. I know it's hard being messy. It's like an urge to draw everything clean, but you will thank me. It's it's a good exercise. Good exercise. I can highly recommend. Step 3. Oh wait, not step 3. Lesson. We said lesson. Thumbnailing. If I'm too fast or if you want some extra explanation, please let me know, okay? Hello, Nuki. Welcome. Welcome to art class. Yeah, you can do it, Hero. I believe in you. Writing down? Yeah. Oh, safe check. Thank you. Feel free to use the question redeem at any time if you... Oh, you're drawing along? Oh, that's really cute. Yeah. I would definitely recommend doing at least these ones like a little bit longer a day. Maybe like give it 20 minutes. Draw at least like 2, 3, if on a good day 5 poses. It will give you so much more like a better understanding of the flow from the body. It doesn't matter if it's anatomically correct. You just need to get the flow done because it's very important for the next step, which is thumbnailing. I know it has a weird name, but we're getting to it. So, to all my artist friends who struggle with doing compositions for art pieces, for giving it more variety. For this, we need a little bit of understanding for just like dimensional stuff. So just like perspective. But we're just gonna jump right into it. Before, what I recommend, of course, you can always start sketching on your canvas right away. No one's stopping you, bestie. Like, you can have like your things sketched out, like, oh, here's the head, here's the ears, here's the neck, and then there's a person maybe like this. Right? You can always have your things sketched out. This is very rough. Right on the start. But what helps a lot with just like big compositions, or if you want to have like a nice kind of just like view to it, what you do is you sketch down your canvas very little. You can do it once, or if you're not sure what kind of composition you want, you can make multiple. Just put them next to each other. Very small. Now, you do basically the same thing you did with just the gestural drawings, but just for composition. You take your light brush, or your sketching brush, and you start thinking. Very roughly. You can have the thing zoomed out, because zooming in too much is gonna make you end up focusing too much on the details as well. So I recommend at least this distance, if not this, okay? Because when we look at it, we want to look, okay, how does it look from further away? What parts does the eye automatically go to first? What is it paying more attention to? You know, what is the focus of the drawing, basically? So, give me a composition. Give me a drawing idea, come on. Anything. A pose, a scenario, give me anything. Here for the solid arts? Yeah, join us. Dinner date, okay. Dinner date can be multiple perspectives. You can be like, oh, I wanted to focus maybe on the girl or something, or like the partner of the date. You can have her partner here, like facing the back at the dinner. Here's like the suit and everything. Here's the hair, and then here's the table. Then here's your date. can always make it bigger if you want. Like, oh, maybe the table is closer. That's why I said you need a little bit of understanding how perspective works, because of course it can look weird if the perspective is off. But yeah, basically something like this. And then, oh, the partner is more in the back. He can be a little blurred out. And then you focus more on the person that is sitting across. Or you just do a side view where both people are just like in the view. And then maybe they look at each other, right? Here's the chair. Here's the chair. And they just look at each other. It's like the chandelier or something. Here's the food. Here will be the chandelier. Oh, you have it so that it's just like very closed up, like, right? Like here's the partner. Like a more top view. So you only see a little bit of the partner. Thumbnailing basically just helps a lot getting the composition. How do you want things to look? Do you want a certain element to be more in focus? Then bring this one more to the camera. Make it like use more of the space of the canvas. Put things that are not as important more in the background, or blur them out a little bit. It gives your drawings way more just like atmosphere and just like a certain vibe to it. And you can do that to basically everything. If you have like a full body sketch or full body pose, that's usually what I do for drawing my full body poses. I think of a design, right? Let's take Megu. I feel like, okay, Megu. I have her here. I want her torso to be kind of bent this way. Her hips will be brought up, like so. Her leg will move, like stand out, one of them. One will be behind her back. A little tail. The arms can do like a little sassy pose, like one on the hip and one up. Her little ears. And then I move on from this, right? And it's the same with just any illustration. You can do that for sketches, for illustrations, chibis, anything. It's really good if you don't know what pose you want to go for or how it will look. If you just thumbnail it real quick. When I do a lady sketch, right? Like, okay, I have my face here. It's gonna look like this. I have my little ears here. I don't know, I want the body to be leaning more forward. And I know I want the hair to flow in a certain direction. Then I only draw a couple hair strands. And give them, you know, the direction. How you should always look at your thumbnail. What is in focus? How many elements and flow of the drawing / pose. This is when I would have never thought of to do this. I only discovered this like a couple years back as well, when I was watching a tutorial video. And thumbnailing helps a lot, just simplifying the process of doing concept sketches, really. Because you can always work better if you have a rough idea in mind. A lot of storyboard artists do that with thumbnailing. It's very helpful. I can always recommend it. So, just go an arm swinging. I mean, sometimes you have a pose in your head that is so distinct and so clear in your head, you just go straight for it and it works. That, of course, can happen too, but if you want to focus more on like giving the drawing a certain aesthetic, a vibe, a flow, I would definitely recommend thumbnailing. Better for drawing for ages. Yeah, and that's basically my process, but we'll go on that in a little bit. Now, my favorite step. My favorite step that probably most of you guys are interested in, at least from the feedback I had. Lesson 4. Color theory. Booba. That's lesson number 5. Now, there's a lot of ways to approach this. There's a lot of resources. If you Google it up, you can see a lot of ways how people shade, how people use colors, color palettes that you can use. I'll just go with basically how I do it. But just for like a little tip, there's also, when you Google color palettes, there's specific sites that can give you just like a certain amount of colors. If you want to look for like OC inspiration, just like own characters, and you don't know what color palette to give them, you can always like have a random generator give you like a certain color palette. There are color palettes references for certain moods, like for certain light sources, light ambience. There's color palettes for the seasons, for trees, for blood, anything. If you have no idea how to shade something, just Google color palette and then set item, say theme, anything. I did this for gold shading. I did this for just like fucking emeralds, or just like any kind of ore. I did it for metal. It's really helpful because sometimes you're just stuck and you don't know what colors to use, and there's a lot of really helpful references. In Clip Studio, you can also download stuff. That would be here in this little window. Oh, hold on. It's being squished. Basically this here. Oh, I have it in German, so I'm very sorry. It's basically the icon with a lot of colors in it, like this here. And then you can basically download color palettes. Like I have one for gold, I have one for dark tones, I have one for a bunch of purple colors, I have it for silver, I have it for blood and everything. And it's sometimes really helpful because sometimes you just can't really grasp it, and that's a really helpful resource. Oh, and there's also like, here are the assets that you download if you wanna. I have them sorted in folders a little bit to keep it organized. If I need something, I can quickly access it. But basically, here's like your downloads from your material. But yeah, Clip Studio has a lot of helpful features. There's definitely a lot of tutorial videos that can explain it better than I can. But I definitely recommend checking them out because it's really helpful. And for this, we're also gonna drag the color wheel here for a second, because this is gonna be important. Color wheel, yippee! Gonna bring it a little bit more in focus because it's gonna be very important for explaining. So, what is color theory? There's a lot of things. I cannot very perfectly explain it, but I will try my best. Let's get a pointer out of here. So, the way how I approach colors. Let's draw something very simple. Like, let's do circles. Very basic introduction. This applies to any color you use, okay? So for example, you use red. Okay? We're going with red. Now, how I shaded in the past is just I took this little blob here, right? Can you see it? And I just move it down to the darker color. We're gonna do a little comparison so you can see the difference. And give it a nice little shading. Then we're gonna grab the color again, move it up, and paint the upper part basically, right? So, that's like the average version. But what if we do that again, just Letty style? Let me show you the difference. Just gonna select it real quick so the other ball doesn't get colored. We take the same red tone for the base. And how I always approach shading is for darker colors, where's my pointer? I take this little bar here, where your color spectrum is, right? I take this part and move it just a little bit to the lower direction. And for lighter colors, the same thing, but just a little bit more into the lighter spectrum. And you will see what effect that has. As well with this one, the little blob. You don't only want to use it like going straight down or straight up. I always recommend going diagonally with where you put the thing, right? Pay attention to it real quick. You will see how it will affect the fucking colors, right? We have our red. I move it down a little bit more to the pinkish spectrum. And this cursor, like, I move down diagonally too. And now we give it a shape. Moving down a little bit more if I notice it's too light. And the same for upwards. I go up. Give the top a little bit of shading. Maybe even a little bit of a highlight. Can you see the difference? It's just mild stuff, but it is like very given away when you do like full illustrations and the whole color theory applies to every item. Said I do. I personally feel attacked. No, Megu, it's okay. It's just my way of doing shading. Everyone their own. But I think it's always nicer shading stuff not with the same color spectrum it started off, but just like having slight variations, right? It just gives it more of a warm tone and a nicer blending. What you can also do is doing complete contrast, right? Like mixing warm colors from this spectrum, mixing warm colors with cold colors. If you want to give it a little bit of a, you know, more distinctive highlight. Like when we use a blue and we shade it a little bit at the bottom, you see what happens? Now we have a different light source. And it looks like there's light coming from down here too. But it also can work as a nice little, like, eye-catcher, little contrast. Yeah. Basically. It's also a reason why I don't draw on just basic white paper, because I feel like it kind of makes colors look a bit too harsh in the eye too, when everything is just this super fucking white. Like, everyone to their own, but I like it if my colors are a little bit less saturated, like, if it makes sense. Like IRL, yeah. You can do that with everything. Let me show you. You can do that. Let's give it an overlay. If I say, oh, I'm having a purple ball or something. Purple ball. I go down in the spectrum. Shade it. Can give it a little bit of like blue highlights. Do the same on top. Going with blue. Now here for blue, I go more into the purple one, because we would use the lighter blue for the highlight. It's always nice to shade blue tones with a darker purple. I'm going to the light colors. You see? Hey, blue ball. And this is basically how I color everything. Like clothing folds, like hair. I always go with the lower part of the spectrum and the higher part of the spectrum. But you can always like experiment with it. There's also a lot of people who use completely different colors for highlights. Like, that is completely up to you. So was there like another step? Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to show. Let's put the color wheel back for that. When I double click. When you double click on the colors. So like, we get the pointer. Ah, oh god, everything is moving. Like, when you double click on one of your colors here, another window opens with like the color settings. And you see like a way bigger thing here. You can have like hex codes if you want to put in hex codes. So color codes. You can adjust them manually. But we don't need all that stuff. We're just looking at this here, right? Okay. So just as a little showcase, because it's better to see in a bigger window. Let's make it really big for that. Usually people use like a complete white, right? But I like to just move down a little bit, like about here. So it's not touching the corner, but a little bit, you know, to the starting point. And that applies to pink, to blue, to purple. I usually shade white with either this or blue colors. She's attacking me again. I'm just giving my own methods, Miku. I shaded white, just like this white, for the longest time, and it always looked really harsh. Like, don't get me wrong, it can look good. It can look good on white hair as well. But if you use it, for example, for eye whites or little highlights, it's, for me personally, much nicer if I have a little bit of a tint of another color in it, because then it's not too bright on the eye, and it's also, you know, having a nicer flow into other colors. And never shade with gray. Oh my god, never shade with gray. For the it's just my part, but especially white. Never shade it with gray. Like, always use colors that go around this spectrum. Okay? Always in this little corner. It can be this, it can be purple, it can be blue, and I show you why, okay? I show you why. This is no cap. You make one ball with white. Okay. We use gray to shade the ball. Like, okay, cool ball. And now I shade with my white, okay? Can you see the contrast? Can you see? Where's my pointer? Can you see the contrast here? I always look in these windows as well, because we have a much nicer like view on how they will reflect each other, the colors. So you don't have to try it out. Okay? So I choose a little bit of a lighter color. Get some purple in there as well, maybe some blue. Do you see that, chat? Do you see that? Let's get a darker background so you can see it a little better. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too dark. Do you see that? You can also just like make it a little bit more. Do you see the difference? Not many people see it, but it's just a tiny little thing. But in my opinion, it makes it so much more nicer. The white doesn't look as cold anymore, and it has just like this warm tone to it. Just moving over to Hero Stream. It's really a nice change. You converted me. I do this now since you showed me on stream once. Hey, let's go, Meko. Someone showed me and I show it to you. Trade offer. I receive different shading method. You receive different shading method. Again, you don't need to do any of these. It's just my personal things of how I do stuff. But I guess that's also why you guys are interested in. Oh god, the ambulance is coming outside. This is a damn, she's right. It's because pure white will reflect all our colors in its surroundings, so it will be just great. Yes, definitely. Even if you just use white, like the pure white, right? We go into the complete corner again, pure white. Even if you just use like a light blue, that is also fine. That is also fine. It's nothing against the pure white in like a singular case. You can use that. It's just never shade it with gray, please. Gray just doesn't look natural. Okay? Okay, taking notes, kids. You're taking notes. I hope you do. And for shading white, I always like to use either blue and purple of a mix or either pink and blue of a mix, depending on what shade or what tinted color the white has, right? Sort of dirty, like when your pencil smudges. Yeah, exactly. Lessons I'm learning here is 90% of what I love about ladies shading is actually color free, not brushes technique. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is brushes too, brush strokes, but it comes down to color theory. If you have like a very distinctive way of how to shade, or you have like a very own way of choosing your color palettes, your shading, that's why some artists really stand out, because they may have a unique way of using colors. Like some shade with only cold ones, some have very vibrant and colorful art. It really comes down to the artist's style. And the more you try out, the more you just like, try out new things. Like even I learn new things every day. I feel like every time I shade gold, I shade it differently. Because the more you draw, the more you naturally improve and the more you learn. Just not even by fucking training or drawing exercises. Just literally drawing fucking anything. Even without practice, if you just draw consistent. Because consistency is key. Drawing consistently without practice and just observing like other people's art, trying to understand, okay, what is the process? Okay, they use this color for shading. Okay, they use that kind of line weight. Okay, they use this kind of composition. Even if you just observe and study other people's art, it doesn't have to be a breakdown. Just simply look at it and give it 5 minutes to think about it. What did the artists do here? What did they do with the colors? What did they do with the line art? Even just observing this, you naturally just like save it in the back of your head. And when you're drawing and you're shading something and you may think, hey, I saw this method from another artist. Maybe I try it out this time. Like, don't be afraid to try out new stuff. Go out of your comfort zone. Maybe you end up liking it. You never know. Maybe you will add it to your skill set. And especially don't be afraid of having like an inconsistent style or multiple styles. That is nothing to be ashamed of. That doesn't mean that you're a bad artist. Some people take years to find their style. And even my style changed drastically in like only a year or 2 years. It still changes. Like, it's natural. The more you gain experience, the more you learn, the more your style changes, the more you adjust to it. And it's nothing wrong. That shouldn't stop you from, doing your thing, open commissions, drawing in general. Don't be afraid to just put your work out there, advertise it. That way you gain a lot more experience too. So, for exercise, I want everyone to use these colors, okay? I want you to just use the circle tool, draw a circle. Doesn't matter if it's a perfect circle or not, or just a shape. It can be any shape, okay? It can be like a fucking square or anything, I don't care. Just use anything. I want you to shade a circle in red, in yellow, because yellow is also very important. In yellow. You don't necessarily need to use these colors, but I'll just do them here for exercise. One in blue, one in these, one in purple, and one in pink. Wait, not pink. One in white. I want to see at least one white ball in it. Okay. How do you do the ground shadow again? Oh, like the one I used before for the circles? For that, it's very simple. Like when you use any shadow, you either have two methods. You can just, if it's something simple like a circle, you can just roughly, you know, draw the shape like this. And then erase a little bit. You can do this. Or what you can do, you take the circle, copy paste it. It's gonna look weird for a second. Wait. You copy paste it. Look at my mouse. You move the layer underneath the original. Okay, so it's behind. Let me show you. So I colored real quick. Wow, thank you for the follow. You put it behind, right? So it's literally behind. You use Control T to use the transformation tool. And what I do, I take the upper corner, press Alt, not Alt, Control. So your cursor moves to a little arrow. Do you see that? And then you can just simply, because it's, then you switch to free transformation and you can just like move it around, right? And basically, I drag it to the ground. Now for that you need to understand a little bit of perspective. Move it to the side. So we kind of line up. Like this. And then I lower the opacity and give it the same color, or like just slightly different, as the background. And bada bing bada boom, you have a shadow. It's that simple. If you want to be a little extra spicy, you can have a gradient eraser here underneath your little, what are they called? Gradient brushes. And you can just like drag it a little bit to make it disappear. Right? Give it a little bit more spice. Yo, mine. To understand a little bit of perspective. And dude, no, wait, Nuki, were you here when we practice perspective? But perspective is really easy. Like, I know it's like, okay, though I don't want to sound too shady here. Listen, hear me out. Like, perspective is hard. Until you understand it. Like, whoa, groundbreaking. But like, just what you can do, what we did in art college, we had a Rubik's Cube, right? We had a Rubik's Cube, or you take an apple, anything. You take any object and put it before you, and then you just kind of try to draw them in different angles. It's a good exercise for your hand, for like your eye-hand coordination. And you get a better understanding. And there's like a lot of good tutorials on perspective. But they can explain it better than I can, because my way with words is not good. But yeah, I want everyone to shade at least a white one. Like that is minimum practice. A white one, a red one, and a yellow one. Okay? Okay. You can post them in the Discords if you want. I can, wait. I'll post it in the Discords real quick, okay? In the Discord channel. And then you can put all your balls in there. Here's the Discord if anyone is not on there yet. If you look, there's this channel in crafts called Atelier Corner. I made it for whips and posts and just like feedback if you want any. And I'm just gonna post the exercise, okay? exercise color theory. Post your balls. Okay? And you can access that thread if you click on it, and you can post your balls. And if you want, I can give you a little bit of feedback on it. Just mention it in the same post, okay? And then we can all see everyone's beautiful results. You need to get around it, same with anatomy. We also did a little exercise on anatomy. Thumbnailing and anatomy. I can definitely recommend, Nuki, just a little touch-up for you, gestural drawings, poses. Basically, not focus too much on perfect lines, perfect like anatomy, just getting the flow of the poses. And practicing anatomy is like basically just breaking down poses. Like if you take stock photos or references and you just break them down, you get a better feeling for it, right? Okay. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to touch up. We can do... Okay, lesson. Whoops. Lesson number 5. The way of the bat. I'll show you my process, okay? What you've all been waiting for, the bat process. I will show you how I do art. Just check real quick. Oh, wait. Before that, a little breakdown. Wait. I'll show you later. Okay. If you want any brushes that I use, feel free to let me know. I'll show you real quick all the brushes that I use, like pretty much for all my art. So I have a draft pencil. A drafting pencil that is pretty much just very watercolory, very soft. It gets stronger if you paint more over it and stronger. This is for drafts. Then I have my sketching pencil, which is this one. It gets like, it starts off very light. And the more you put pressure on it, the darker and more firm it gets. I have a marker. I pretty much do all my line art with the marker tool. So this one. Starting soft at the end, ending soft. Gets stronger if you paint over it multiple times. It's my marker. That's a usual G pen that you already have in CSP. That I use for doing the emotes, emote outlines. So they are very crisp when you cut them out. Just regular G pen. And to shading. I have really like one main shading pencil that I use for everything. But also just like a method I use. So this is how it looks like. And basically like you will see in like its element later that it has like a very special little thing that I like a lot about it. So I have this one, and I just have the regular airbrush that you have in Club Studio already. But if you want, I can send that to you as well. But basically that's like all the brushes I use. So this is draft, sketch, line and shading, shading, and this one shading. Basically. Hi Richmond. Needed to get around it to practice more. I started to get bored, but the more for a book to learn too. Yeah, like I also need to get back into it. I noticed earlier when doing these, like especially when you do like a lot of rendered pieces or just like draw without spending too much time on just like focusing on the pose and composition, you kind of lose that grasp of just quick sketches, quick doodles, quick poses. And especially if you work on something for a very long time, like it's good to have these kind of practices in between to keep, you know, everything freshed up. So you missed a bunch since we went out. Oh no, Kiri! Don't worry, I will save the VOD. I will save it. Are you teaching today? Yes, we're doing Art 101s. We went a little bit over the basics. I showed a little bit of my knowledge, how I do things. But it's very messy. It's not really organized stream. I wish I would have prepped a little bit more to know what I talk about. But it's very, very scuffed and very like on the get-go. We are learning. Yippee! So, how do I do sketches, faces? Like I said before, I do a lot of thumbnailing for bigger pieces if I want to put more thought into it. But if it's just regular, like non-commission sketches, I pretty much, if I have something in mind already, I sketch it right away. Hi, Shroomy. Welcome. Wow, let's get Let's get a pose real quick. Pose, pose, pose. Oh, this alarm is ringing. Let's just do a simple standing pose. Oh, posture check, thank you. Oh. And refreshments. Yippee! Now this, you can take what you want from this. I'm not gatekeeping any brushes, any methods, anything. Art is for everyone. If you feel like my way of sketching or drawing helps you, then by any means feel free to apply it to your own style. Or maybe like change it up a bit if you want. Or just take certain elements, you know, all that shtick. So, when we draw, I usually just draft out like what I want to draw. Like the head is... Oh yeah, I wanted to show you how I draw heads first. I basically start with a circle, draw my guidelines on where I want the eyes. Like, this is gonna be the nose line, and this is gonna be the eye line. Now, I hope you already had like a sketched or like roughly drawn a couple heads before, so you have a feeling of where goes what. So basically, since here's the scalp, right? The scalp where like the middle of your head is, or your head, like the middle line of your face is basically where your scalp starts for the hair, right? So you can use that as a hair guideline and a nose guideline, because that's where your nose is gonna be. And then I always draw the cheeks to the end of the line, right? This is the line for nose. And around this is usually where the eyes are. Right? Basically. Just as a little touch up. So I already know, okay, hair starts here and stuff. And at this part of the line, I do a little knack, right? Where your forehead and your cheek gets like separated. So your cheek is gonna stand out a little bit more if your head is like to the side. Sometimes it can be a little bit messy. Doesn't have to be the first line right away. Oh, thank you, Leo, for the subby. Is there a keyboard shortcut for the canvas flip? There probably is. I have it on a button on my tablet. Let me check. It's Control and Q. So Control and Q. Or you press this little thing, your little thing here in your navigator. You press this little thing. This also flips your canvas. Yeah. But I use Control Q and then have it on one of the buttons on my tablet. Same with Control Z and zoom in, zoom out, all that stuff. So that's roughly how I draw heads. Let's do one straight face for good measurements. And I do a lot of like resizing, resketching. Don't be afraid to like remove parts of your sketch that you don't like. Because maybe when you do them a second time, you like them even more. You never know unless you try. So I have my rough guidelines, right? Let's get rid of that. Let's give them a little bit more space. With my rough lines, I put them under low opacity, and you can press this little thing. That's really handy. Where's my pointer? Basically, this icon, the third icon above your layers, that looks like a little pencil. If you press that, you can see your layer. Oh god. Your layer gets like this little blue side thing. That means this layer will not be recognized at all. It's as if it's not existing. This is really good for sketching layers, because if you later do like line art and colors, if you do line art, it will not be recognized. So if you use like the selection tool, it will not recognize the sketches, right? Very handy, just little tip. That's what I do. So I do the sketches, then I grab my other sketching pen and I start drawing the faces. Refine the face shape a little bit more. I just do very, very soft little strokes. Can be a little bit messy because in the line art we clean them up, okay? Sketch doesn't have to be perfect. I need to work on that too, because sometimes I spend too much time on sketches. But it is really time taking, and you should focus more on just like getting the sketch done and doing the refined parts in the line art. Now there's no shame if you want to copy paste the eye. I do that a lot for like if the work needs to be like symmetrical. But other than that, I try to draw the second eye nonetheless, because it's a great exercise to like, you know, train your eye to do like similar shapes, right? I want everyone to do an art stream after this and show me what you learn. And when I flip it, always flip it. It shows you when something is off. I place the eyes on my eye. Yeah. You see? This looks fine, but if I flip it, I see, oh, this eye is a little bit too small. Always flip it. You see flaws that maybe when you just look at the drawing from one angle, it kind of just blends over. I don't know how else to describe it. You don't see the flaws as much because you only see it from one perspective. But if you flip it, you're most likely to see like, oh, okay, this one is a little bit tilted. This one needs to be moved up a little bit, you know? Always flip it to check if things are off place. Can only exclusively draw stick figures. I also started with drawing stick figures. If you put your mind into it, or like all your effort into art, there's nothing you can't do. Everyone progresses at their own time and speed. Don't be too hard on yourself, but just saying you can't do art, I will not allow. Everyone can do art, if they put the time and effort into it. Even you, I'm pointing at you. And even Hero. You hear me, Hero? Yes, you. If you want, you can draw your character as well. Try and draw along. Just use like the previous exercises if you want to do them. I like to do little highlights underneath the eyes to make them pop out more. Don't be afraid to move away from your sketch if you feel like a part doesn't feel right. So you don't have to do the sketch 100%. Sketch should always be guidelines. Okay? Always flip. Flip, flip, flip. Okay, take care, Leo. Kitsu! Yeah, thank you so much for the lady drawing. Oh my god, it was so fucking cute. I was squealing. Wow. Thank you so much. Be quiet. I go a little bit more into detail how I draw the hair in a second, okay? I also like to use a soft eraser for like parts I'm not happy with. You can shortcut to the eraser if you just press E, by the way. can show on this one if you guys want. Wait. So basically, we have these spaces, right? Sorry for being so quiet, I get really focused on sketching. Okay. Inuki, thanks for being here. It was nice seeing you again. Oh, refreshments, thank you. What? Tried using a method of what you taught me with the hair, and it honestly worked. Oh, I'm glad. We catch up on that topic now. Sketches are so good. No, shut up. Thank you for the subs. Yeah, no worries. Look at her living her best life. Okay, I will go back into detail explaining. So basically, we take this one to the side real quick for explanation. Can I move the ears? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Wow. Okay. Basically, for the hair, what I do pretty much all the time whenever I draw it is I think about how I want it to flow. Now, I'm not very good with words, but I always described it as just imagine how the water flows kind of deal, right? And maybe it makes sense in a second. Just doing little touch-ups. Wait, first we draw the ears, so... Oh my god, it's maybe a bit public. What kind of ear pose do we want? Maybe something like this. Okay. The way of letty hair is pretty simple, basically. So for that, we need to understand how hair works. You have your scalp, right? Which is basically like the top of your head. And not always, but usually the scalp is in the middle, right? Goes to the middle of your head. This is the middle point where all your hair strands are going from. Like, I did it in the past where I did not do that, and I just randomly drew hair strands, right? And they looked all over the place. Like, it looks better if, you know, you draw them with the root, because then it will make way more sense, and you get a more natural flow of the hair, and it doesn't look too messy or like all over the place. You don't always have to draw the middle strand, but it's as a guideline, I highly recommend it. And then what I usually do is I look at the piece and I start thinking like, okay, what do I want? What direction do I want to go? This can be connected to thumbnailing as well, like if you want to draw the hair flow in the thumbnail as well. Then it would usually look like this. I take another color and I very simply just let's say, you know what, let's show it with multiple hairstyles, okay? First we do the regular one. I know, okay, this is where my hair parts ways, right? With time you may even see them before your spiritual eye and you don't need that guideline anymore. Like, this is where my hairline is. And from here I start going, okay, I want a bang to go like this maybe. And the other one goes more out. And you can be really messy with it. Just draw a bunch of squiggly lines. The only thing you want to get down is the flow. Nothing more. It doesn't have to look like hair strands. You can also do like this if you just want a general direction of how the hair goes. You just want to get, you know, direction, you can do that. Or you just do, okay, I have my little puffy hair here, the little puffs. It goes like out here. Basically like this. Maybe one hair strand is also flowing like in this direction. You can basically go ham with it. So this would be my hair, right? And then I draw the details on top of that. But you can do the same for literally every kind of style. Let's say... There we go. Let's draw with brown so it fits more again. Say you want to draw bangs. Start with a couple lines where you know the bangs need to stand out like this. Maybe it goes like here to the bottom. And then you add little strands in between. Doesn't have to be perfect, just to get a general flow. Just little squiggly lines. It goes out like this, like here. Maybe one goes outside. That's pretty much the whole process of how I draw hair. Imagine it like a wave. A wave that you're riding, aloha. And you can apply that to every hairstyle. Just draw the elements. So when you have spiky hair, you focus more on the spikes. Like, oh, okay, I want spikes here. I want spikes here. Here. And the bangs can flow up a little bit. Basically, right? Just for sketches, be as rough as you can, because we wanna do the details in line art to save time. It really helps. Thank you. I'm glad it helped. Because that's just how I've done it for so long now. And, you know, has it had like a more natural. Yippee! Yeah, that's just like. I mean, of course, you can use reference pictures, but I just go with like the feeling. Like, does it feel natural if the hair flows in this direction? And if it doesn't, I redo the line. Same when it lays somewhere. If it's laying on the shoulder, it just has like, you know, the strands go into that direction, they bounce off the shoulder, and then they go to the bottom again. It's very simple, really, in the core. And if you have this issue of you're only drawing hair strands like this, and you don't know what to do else, I have a tip for you. Like, I have two ways of drawing my hair's ends, and it's either the typical, oh, you line, but you add an extra line. Maybe even in between. And then you just erase that part that it's overlapping and move on. Or you just like, you give it a little partner. Like this. Or you make a hair strand like poke out a little. Hair is not firm, it is very free. It has like a lot of outstanding strands. So feel free to experiment with it. Look what feels natural, and if you think that you made too many loose strands, you can always reduce them. Or you do the little... What I like to do a lot is like the one where it's like going from one strand into two. Something like this, right? Or... just experiment with it. It's basically the core. Make this a little bit more smaller again. Oh god, maybe not too small. overlap strands with other strands, it also has like a natural feeling to it. Like this one here. Oh. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. If you have any questions to like the process again, how I draw art, I can always happily teach you again in like a voice chat or something. Just let me know if I can help you. That's a lady. Oh, wait, did I miss the question? Oh, okay, there it is. Sorry. I know obviously practice skill, but do you have any tips for drawing eyes at different angles? I never know how to draw eyes. Yes, we can definitely toggle that. AK more like an AK point. Oh, nice. Let's go. Wait, no, not let's go. No bilingual routine. That Mako, I can definitely help. Oh, safe check, thank you. I say that art lesson. Oh, I already drank, thank you. But I will do the posture check. Okay. But yes, I can definitely give you little tips on that. Okay, wait, how do we... do something quick for preparation. We only focus on eyes now for Miko. Let's go with this. What else? We could do side angles too. And maybe like a top-down one. Okay. If you want request a specific angle, let me know, Miko, okay? So, when it comes to angles, for eyes, I have one specific method, but I can break it down to you, because at the moment I have it more in front of my mental eye, right? So we're gonna mark them real quick as red. Or maybe just a little bit of opacity down. Okay. So we take I take my draft pen, okay, not the detailed one. And what you can do for eyes, if it's front view, of course, symmetrical ruler is totally okay. You have like your middle line here, right? That will determine where your nose is and everything. Placement of the nose, the middle of the mouth, your eyebrows, and eyes as well. And what you can do, I always imagine like another line on top, depending on how high you want the eyes to be. You can always adjust the size later if you want, that's totally fine. Just like if you maybe want to check if they're like on the same height, you can always do like another line on top. And what I do, for example, if they're straight like that, I just do, as I turn a little tilted heads, yeah, no worries, like Okay, let's keep them more straight because this is already angled. Oh, you have your straight lines here. I don't make them too big because too big is just like you can make too big, of course it comes down to your style, but I just prefer them not to be too overpowering in the face. So what you do is I draw a simple eye shape. Depending, of course, there's different eye shapes, right? But I just draw the simple eye shape. And I usually do that with like just automatically in my brain. That's why it maybe looks like as if I can draw eye shapes really fast. But also because just, of course, practice. If you draw eye shapes like 100 of times, yeah, of course, it's gonna be more fluent. And that can apply to every eye shape. If you have like more round eyes, you can draw them. You can draw them like this. If you have slim eyes, you just draw the basic eye shape, right? So you already know how big it is, where your bottom lash is, where you can place the pupil, stuff like that, right? Just when you see the eye, imagine it as just like a shape, okay? And you draw that shape inside. And what I do after that is I grab my sketch pen. Oh no, you go straight for lash and then get annoyed. Yeah. Jumping right into it is definitely a method that you can do, but if you're unsure about the eyes, I would definitely do like the form first. And then you can just grab another pencil and just draw on top of that, right? It's like, oh yeah, here's my top lashes. Here's the bottom ones, right? Top lashes, bottom lashes. The eyelid is usually just a little bit above it. And then you have your pupil. And then you can just get rid of the other layer and then bada bing, bada boom, you have an eye. And it's pretty much the same. Let's get rid of this. For every angle. So when you have a side angle, right? Of course you have to go with perspective, but you can always use this guideline of, okay, this is where my eye ends. Okay? So when you have your nose here, of course, when it's angled, the nose sticks out a bit more. Here comes perspective into the thing, right? Because, of course, if this space gets slimmer, of course, the eye needs to be stretched a bit more, right? I hope I can find the right words to explain. So here would be your first eye, bottom lashes on the line. And since it is tilted, you know, okay, I basically do the same shape, just stretched a bit more, right? You make sure that the height is still the same, but also that it doesn't go really much over the outer line. So just the same, but stretched. And same with the pupil. The pupil disappears a little bit more depending on, of course, where you look at. It gets slimmer than the other one. Everything basically just gets more stretched. And if you have issues, let's say, for example, what you can also do, if you want, if you have the base, if that is more comfortable for you, and you just like, I can't get it right, you can also just draw like your basic eye shape, like on a straight thing, right? Draw your basic eye shape, transform, put it in there, copy paste, and then adjust the size. You can do that too, it's like a little help. But then again, you need to adjust the side here to get the perspective again. Do you see it? This is more straight, and this is more fitting to the form of the circle. Right? Yeah. We just want to make sure that it lays on top of the circle and it's not outstanding. There we go, you have your eyes again. can make them look to the side. Make them look forward. If you have issues placing the pupils as well, like where to put them, I always imagine like a dot where you're looking at. Like, okay, they're looking at this. And then you just use this as guideline. Like, okay, they want to look at this. So I draw the pupils like that. And you can do that with everything. Like, oh, she looks up. Of course, you kind of have to adjust it a little bit, but basically, this is how I imagine it. Just imagine a dot where they look at, and make them look at it. Let me do it for you. Basically. If you want, add early sketches or practices. If you want to send it to me like, hey Letty, I have issues with this angle or something, I can definitely help you. You never bother me if you like approach me in DMs. I can tell you that multiple times, okay? You can use the server for feedback. There's a little feedback tag in the atelier corner. If you want feedback on, hey, I have issues with this pose, with this perspective, I need help. I will always be happy to provide input, to have like, you know, make little notes that maybe help you get a better understanding. Again, I'm no professional, but I like to help out if you have issues with something. And that's basically just for every eye. The side eye is usually just like fucking, what's it called? Pyramid. Yeah, something like this. Your pupil is here because it's like very to the side. Same with the bottom. The eyes are longer at the top because of perspective. And the bottom lashes get a little bit smaller. And for the top, again, you squish the bottom lashes. And you make sure that the iris is adjusting to the perspective as well. But yeah, that's basically how I do the eyes. Nerdy resident art mentor. I try my best. I'll try my best. I was thinking, like, I had the idea of, what if I just make a role that is basically called student, and if you want this role, I can make like weekly exercises, or just like a monthly, hey, here are 5 exercises. You can do them at any time and speed you want, or even at a later point. If you want to do them, and if you send them in there, I can like give little feedbacks, little tips, maybe like, hey, why don't try this and that a little bit more, you know? And we can put that into like a specific channel as well, where only I and the students will see it, no one else. So no need to be ashamed, okay? Would that be a cool idea? Oh, today's somehow really sleepy day. But yeah, I hope I covered everything there is to it. What? Oh, thank you for the follow. 100% on board for mental lady. Ayy. But yeah. If you want, I can clean them up a little bit, the lessons. And just like post them on the server as like the first messages of the channel. And then basically do little exercises and stuff like that. Or where I post like like 5 different poses, and I'm like, sketch at least one pose. You put my coloring tutorial there too. I deleted it. It's not there anymore. I'll record it again when I'm doing your concept sheet. But yeah, I will put it there and I will send it to you personally. If Discord lets me send it, if it's not too big, I'll probably upload it to YouTube or something. No, I would not have been perfect. I was very stumbling upon my words and getting confused at language. Okay. Hey, hi! Welcome. But yeah. Questions from the class. Is there anything left open you want to ask me? FERC, yippee! Yippee! Yeah. It was very last minute, really. I thinking of it now, I was like, huh, maybe I should have prepped for this more. Like structure it and make little bullet points and stuff.